This video is brought to you by the FarmerKlein YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment.
Hello everybody, welcome back to our Farming Simulator 22 map first impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Deutschland. But before that, this video is brought to you by Peter Does Farming and Darren Cassell. Thank you for being farm barons. So the Deutschland map you found over at ediomods.it's website. I will put a link to that down in the description below. And for now, we're going to go ahead and take a look at this website. It needs not be said that at this point, this map is released for PC players only because it is not available over at the Giants Mod Hub. So I'm going to show you here about the map. We're going to talk a little bit about the map, and I'm also going to show you how to download the map because it can be a little tricky or a little confusing if you're not sure exactly what's going on here. So at the Deutschland website, we're going to scroll down. We're going to get a little bit of information about the map. This is the way that the map author is showing thank you back to the German community for all of his hard work and, quite frankly, for the game itself. Now, you're going to be able to download the map exactly how you see it here in this video at zero cost. We're going to be showing off the standard quality textures version. Now, you could, if you wanted to kind of kick your experience up a little bit, you could download the high definition texture pack and add that to the map. I do have a video of doing that very process for the Italia Emilia map that came out quite a long time ago from this map author for FS22. I'm going to put a little tick up there in the upper right corner. That's going to take you to that video. The process should be very, very similar. Now, I did get a little kick out of this not confirmed tag for a cross-platform standard textures version. On the official mod site, why would you have a not confirmed thing if you weren't going to do it? But who knows when that will come out between now and, well, who knows when. At any rate, what we're showing off is the standard textures version. And again, you can upgrade your experience a little bit with the high definition texture pack. On this map, there are 54 cultivatable fields, 10 grassy fields, 8 forest areas, 15 red and white grape vineyard areas, 2 purchasable standalone farmhouses. This map is multi-terrain angle ready. It is ready for a basic maize plus, whatever that is. The manure system is ready, animal grazing ready, and all the buildings are custom built by the map author. This map includes 3 farms, and I really like this presentation. First farm is going to be basically agriculture. It's going to have a workshop and a sleep trigger. Farm 2 is going to be agriculture, workshop, sleep trigger. There is going to be a BGA available at that location, but you will have to buy that separate, and a cow farm. Then we have the animal area farm itself, which is going to be basically, it's going to have a silo or crops, maintenance. We have cows, pigs, sheep, and chickens. And then down here we have 3 kind of teaser videos that you can watch about the map. We have the PDA itself, which is right here. And quite frankly, this sets a new standard for what PDAs should look like because we have the elevation terrain here. We've got the contour lines. Really gives you a sense of how hilly this map is or isn't in certain locations. There is a planned extension for whatever comes next. Let's call it FS25 for now. And then lastly, let's go up here and talk about how to download the map. So we're going to click on Standard Quality Textures Download. That's going to take us over here to the store page. And from the store page, we can enter how much we are willing to pay for this particular map. Now, this is completely free. You can put in €0 and it will completely work. There is no requirement that you actually pay for this. But if you want to, after you've seen this video, give the map author a couple bucks, then by all means, feel free to go ahead and do that. If you are looking and thinking about the texture pack, let's take a little look here at that. And let's go ahead and zoom in and we'll see what this looks like. So we have a representation here of standard textures, a representation of medium textures, and a representation of high definition textures. Don't know how well this is going to come across in YouTube after it gets done compressing all of the video and everything, but this page will definitely show you what it will look like to some degree. The medium texture pack is going to be €5. The high definition texture pack is going to be €7. So back here on the store, once again, we have 0 in. We're going to hit add to cart. We're going to give us an opportunity. Are you sure you don't want to get a high definition texture pack? No, no thanks. I'm good to go. And we're going to go ahead and hit checkout. And when we do that, we're going to come here to this checkout page. If we've been here before, if we've downloaded one of the other map authors maps, it's going to remember our email address. If you haven't been here before, you're going to need to put in your email address, because what's going to happen is when we hit continue for free, it's actually going to email us more information about how to actually then download the files. Once we get our email, we're going to click the view order button, or if that button doesn't work, we have a link down below. And it's then going to take us to be able to download both the map itself, 911 megabytes, and a required mod, which is listed right here. Now, in addition to this mod, there are a few other mods that you should add to your mod folder. And they are also listed right here. We have Mercedes-Benz MB Track Series, Deutz D06 Series, and the Sieverdorf Trailer Package. Now, this has been recently added. This was not here earlier today when I was prepping for this recording, but now we have Realism Add-on Animal Grazing. So this was not a required mod when I downloaded the version that I have. It may now be listed as a required mod because it is now flagged here on this store page. Now that you've got everything downloaded in your mod folder, let's fire the map up and join me with the map tour already in progress. Let's go ahead and load in. We do have those required mods that I did mention. The Deutz D06 remake. We have the Mercedes-Benz MB Track Series. And then we have this one right here. And then we have the Silversdorf Trailer Package. In addition to that, we are going to be using the mods we typically use when we look at maps. That is additional field info, additional game settings, animal food overview, field lease, field calculator, precision farming, and straw harvest. Now, we'll tell you, if you load this map up in farm manager mode or start from scratch, you will find the farms are built out exactly how you see them here in new farm mode. The exceptions are you do not own any land, nor do you start out with any starting machinery in those alternate game modes. I did load this map up on a low-end system with integrated graphics, and quite frankly, to my surprise, I was hitting solid 60 frames per second everywhere and anywhere I went. It was a little shocking because I knew what to expect out of this map as far as visual fidelity and quality. And when I was getting the solid 60 frames per second, I really was surprised. So at any rate, this map should run pretty darn good on just about anything. I like this, and I wanted to not just close it out while I was talking. This reinforces, if you downloaded this map literally from anywhere other than the official site that I talked about at the start of the video, delete it. You don't know what it is. You don't know how good it is. You don't know if it's the most recent version. Go through the real process. It's not that painful. And trust me, he is not going to spam you. All you're going to get at most is an email updating you that there's a new version of the map. I set up my email way back when I said the first version of the map of his maps came out. The map Italia extended. Only emails I've ever gotten are when he announces the release of a new map, and he's now working on his third map over the course of 3 years. So it is completely safe to give him your email address. Let's go ahead and take a look at the PDA. We've already seen this on the website, but now we have it colored in with fields and other icons. We have the main starting farm, which is Farm A. Farm B is located right here, and Farm C is located over here. There are also 2 viable farmhouses. They're located right here and right here. Now, I do want to point a few things out on this PDA. One, if we go all the way up here to the upper right, we do have a nice QR code for reporting bugs and problems. We also have a nice legend over here of what's included at Farm A, B, and C. Like I said, I really did like that implementation. And again, down here, another reinforcement. If you got the map from anywhere other than here, delete it and go and download it from the proper source. Support the map author, even if you're not going to give him a donation, which I'm not saying you shouldn't. By all means, if you want to give him a donation for his work on this map, then by all means, do so. But just note that you are not required to pay for this map in any way unless you want to, 1, give him a free will donation, or 2, upgrade the texture pack to a higher quality texture pack, which again is somewhat helping support the map author. So again, we have Farmland ID 20, which is the main starting farm. That can be bought in any alternate game mode for $185,900. We also start out with Farmland ID 10, which is $82,000. That is Field 8. Farmland ID 9 is one of the independent farmhouses. That is $30,480. And Farmland ID 2 is the second independent farmhouse. That can be bought for $49,000. We have Farmland 3, which is Farm B. That can be bought for $1.7 million. And Farm C is going to be available at Farmland 16. That can be bought for $1.8 million. We do have a grape area over here, a wine cellar, and you get a little bit of grapevines also with this. That can be bought for $1.5 million at Farmland ID 58. As I mentioned, there's a BGA that is tied to Farm C that is purchasable independently for $34,800. Then lastly, there is a large chicken area down here at Farmland ID 46. And that can be bought for $178,000. Let's go ahead and take a look at our farmland lease screen. This is going to show us all of the viable farmlands, how large those farmlands are, and if those farmlands include any fields. Then lastly, how much is that farmland going to cost us? We're now going to go and cross-reference the farmland lease screen with the field calculator screen. This is going to show us the specific sizes of each particular field. And then we can go back and cross-reference that with our farmland screen and see how much it's going to be to buy any one of these given fields. You see, we've got what I would classify as small to medium-sized fields. Here, field 54 is 4.7 hectares in size. I do believe that that may be pretty darn close to the largest field. Field 32 is 5.92. And then we have other fields that are less than 1 hectare. So again, kind of small to medium size. Let's jump and take a look at our precision farming soil map. We do have a custom soil map that is on this map. So let's go ahead and see how that is being applied to these fields. So you see a good chunk of the fields to the north are loam. To the south, we have mostly sandy loam and loamy sand. And then an area right here along the river, we do have some silty clay. Taking a look at our crop counter, we do have a custom crop counter that is available here on this map. And I have to say, it's a little depressing that we start in August because wheat, barley, canola, oats, they're done. There's no chance to get any harvest your first year for those, and it's a little disappointing. It may not be realistic, I don't know, for Germany to be able to harvest wheat, barley, canola, and oats in August, but I think from a gameplay standpoint, it would really be nice to have had that shift such that those crops were harvestable in August, so you can get started right away with getting some crops and getting rocking ready to roll. Because right now at this point, are you going to be able to harvest in the fall? We're going to have corn, sunflowers, soybeans, potatoes, sugar beet, sorghum, and then our new crops. We do have spelt, which we can harvest, and red beets, carrots, and parsnips. Other than corn and soybeans and sunflowers, not a lot of popular crops there are going to be harvestable right out of the gate. As far as our prices go, we do indeed have the ability to sell all of the crops other than olives and cotton. So olives and cotton cannot be grown, as well as sugarcane. Olives, cottons, and sugarcane cannot be sold. We can grow them, but we cannot sell them. So we are going to be taking a little bit of points off for that. I do know that, okay, maybe olives, we could debate on if olives are growable in Germany or not. Cotton, that could be debatable. Sugarcane, probably 100% not. It's possible to remove those from the map if the map author didn't want to make you able to basically grow those. But we do have a custom growth schedule, and we do have growth for cotton. We do have growth defined for sugarcane, and we do have growth defined for olives. So maybe it was a mistake, maybe it was intentional, but we are going to take a little bit of points off for that. We do have the ability to sell our eggs, wool, and milk, and our silage, hay, straw, and grass. As we go down through our base game production items, we do indeed have the ability to sell all of our base game production items, which is always a good thing to see. We do have the ability of getting rid of our stones, but we do not have the ability of selling or buying bulk lime. Here we have our spelt, rye, grape production waste, empty wine barrels, empty wine bottles, empty white wine barrels, and white wine bottles. We have firewood, metal parts, white grapes, pasteurized milk, white wine, red wine, green rye, no selling points for green rye. Then we do, if you want to play with your farm production pack, have the ability to wash and sell our washed vegetables. We do have the ability of selling our production items for the platinum expansion. And we also have the ability to sell our premium expansion crops and production items. If you are playing with pumps and hoses, we do have the ability of getting rid of our separated manure. And then lastly, if you are playing with straw harvest, we do have the ability of getting rid of our hay and straw pellets. With respect to our starting fleet, which is only available in new farmer mode, we've got an interesting set of starting equipment, and it is basically composed of a lot of the mods that are required. We do not have any animal pens at the start. We do have contracts available on this map, and we do not own any production chains at the start either. Now, this map does have 16 custom collectibles, and speaking of those custom collectibles, I want to show you one right now because it's right here. There are 16 coat of arms that you are going to find scattered around the map for collection. Are they going to be worth more than $16,000 or $160,000? That I'm not sure. Let's go ahead and take a look at our starting fleet. We start out with the MB Track 1100 Ruma and the Deutz D6206 small tractor. We have the GMD 4411 side mower, the Pontiger Alpine Hit 4.4H header. We have the Semez Z2 840H windrower, the Pontiger Impress 125F Pro baler. Then we have the Silverdorf SMLA 1640 BTA bale loading trailer. We have the D06 front loader for the Deutz Far tractor. And we have a round bale fork for that front loader. And we have a 600 kilogram front weight. Now, as far as mods and DLCs, of course, we have the 3 required mods that do have machinery and tool implementation here. As far as the map itself goes, yes, we have custom vehicles and implements. So we have a custom grape harvester for the white grapes. We have some trailers that are configured for both normal grapes and white grapes. We have a white grape trimmer. Then we have a custom Profiliner trailer. Then we have also the RA142 customized TMR mixer. And we have custom Joskins and Lizard liquid tankers that have been set up to accept additional fill types. You can also buy a pallet of empty wine barrels, white wine bottles, metal parts, and firewood. Now you may be wondering, what do I do with metal parts and firewood? Well, let's go ahead and take a look at the custom production that is available on this map. So we have a custom sawmill that is going to make wood barrels, and firewood. We're going to do wood. We're going to need logs and metal parts for our planks. We're going to need logs, metal parts for our barrels, and we're going to basically get barrels and firewood as a result of that. Or we could just produce firewood alone, and we're going to take logs and get firewood. We have a bio bakery, which just think of it as a standard bakery, but we are taking flour and firewood to get bread. And we're taking basically all of our cake parts, flour, pasteurized milk, eggs, and butter, as well as firewood to get our cakes. We've got a dairy for butter, cheese, and pasteurized milk. We have a grain mill, which is going to take wheat, barley, oat, and sorghum to make ourselves some flour. And then we have the BGA that is going to input manure, wood chips, slurry, silage, sugar beet cut, grape processing waste, straw, grass, and hay, and output energy, methane, and digestate. Our wine cellar is going to take grapes, either regular or white, empty wine barrels, and white wine bottles, and it is then going to output grape production waste, white wine barrels, white wine, and regular red wine, and then we also have these empty wine bottles as an output, which I'm not really sure on. Oh, okay. Grapes and barrels make empty wine bottles and grape production waste. Again, that's a little confusing. I don't really understand that thought process. With that, let's go ahead and just tab real quick up to our starting farm, which is right here in town, pretty much right up the street. Right there, you see the railroad tracks, literally right up the street from where we started. We do have the signature custom trigger markers that are known for by this map author. We have our sleeping area. Over here we have a wardrobe trigger, flagged as management point, but you know it's a wardrobe trigger because we have our duffel bag. We have our starting machinery located over here. And just because I feel nice to you guys, I'm going to tell you, walk up here and go ahead and hit R, because there's another hidden coat of arms there. That's it. I'm not telling you where any of the others are. You get 2 free. Find the rest yourself. We've got more of our starting machinery. And then over here, we do have kind of an extension of the starting farm. This is technically other buyable land, farmland ID 21. And I've gone ahead and already bought the rest of the farms that we're going to explore on. We'll also pick up our chicken coop here in a little bit. We have a maintenance trigger here, and the activation point is actually down below. So I really do like these buildings where we have kind of multiple levels. So we also have a workshop down here, and the activation icon for both of those is right here at the bench. Now this was flagged as a dealer trigger. Dealer triggers are going to allow you to sell and repaint typically, whereas workshop triggers are not. Across the way from that, we have another nice building. This is going to provide us more vehicle and implement storage. Then we have a silo So we have our dump point and fill points here for this custom silo. And that is pretty much the starting farm area. Now let's jump over here to farm B, the second farm. So we've got a workshop trigger. Implement storage. We have another grain unloading and fill point here. It's another grain silo. So here we're going to have, this is going to be for our sheep. So we have our wool. We have bale and pallet storage. We're going to have to put product up there to store. We're going to get it out down here, and this is where we're going to come to manage that. We have our food trough for our sheep. And we have our sheep delivery point, 20 sheep in total. So we have a manure piling point. This is going to be for our cows. Animal water drain. Interesting. Now we're back up here to the top level. We have eggs. 40 chickens here. Then we have our food for our chickens. Mineral feed, storage, unloading animal feed. Kind of dual purpose there. Storage silo. Then we have a loading point. And 50 pigs. So that manure heap over there was not for cows, it was for pigs. Stand corrected. So we have our straw in there. We have a pig drop off here. And this pipe is going to take us all the way over here to our pig food. So this is for our pig food. And then this is going to be, we don't have a, odd we don't have the flag here. But this is going to be for our chicken food. Feeding our chickens. Thinking he may have just missed that. Turn our lights on and off. We've got straw in here. We have what's going to be a food trough. Well, it looks like a food trough. More manure here. Slurry. And I suspect if I had continued to make my way around the building, we're going to find our animal drop-off point for 80 cows. So we do have up top more bale and pallet storage. So we're going to have to put our pallets and bales up there. This is where we're going to get them out. Here's where we're going to interact with that storage. We have a water trigger here. We have a silage bunker located here for our cows. And that is basically the second farm, Farm B. Let's make our way over here to Farm C. We have our sleeping trigger. We have our wardrobe trigger. Really nice custom buildings. I like how we're not really repeating a bunch of buildings at the various farms. Each farm has its own unique look and feel. We have our silo dump and fill point. Mineral feed. We have our water point. So we have our auto feeder here. So we have our silage. We have our straw. We have our hay for that. $250 cows in this facility. Oh, that's slow. That's cool. I just leave it up all the time because, you know, it's slow. So a left click to open all the tents, it says. So we have our food trough. We have our straw area in there. We have our manure point once again. Slurry. It's saying enter vehicle. Typically on this map, you would enter this and you would turn it on. And then basically it would pull the manure over into the pile. I'm not able to enter it right now because I turned on fly mode. And fly mode just prevents me from being able to typically enter vehicles. That's why that's not working. Here we have the BGA that is tied to Farm C. So we have our unload point for our liquid manure to go into the BGA. We have a 3-sided silage bunker. We have a digestate output. And we've got a nice ramp up here to our interactive icon and our silage and other, basically our digester input. Once again, a really cool building. Here at this barn, nice timbers. We had a workshop trigger. Once again, it's flagged as a dealer trigger. And there we are. Which is interesting because, so we saw that's on the preview page. Let's go back here. Okay. I had these mixed up. I thought Farm B and C was backwards. That's why I was confused when I had all these animals at Farm B. I thought Farm B was Farm C and vice versa. So with respect to our scoring, can the farms be customizable? The answer is no. All of this stuff is permanently built into the map, and that is basically how this map author builds out his maps. I really didn't have any inclination that it would be customizable in any way. So if you absolutely must change any of these farms, you're going to have to be doing it in the Giants editor. You're not going to have the ability to change any of this stuff in game, so this map may not be for you. But if you don't have a problem with how things look, I don't, but if you don't have a problem with how things look, then this map is stunning, right? This map will literally spoil you for just about any other map out there going forward. Once you see this, you'll be like, yeah, every other map is just a disappointment, pretty much. So over here, we're at one of the independent farmhouses. And we have our sleep and wardrobe trigger there. Then right down the road, we have our second independent farmhouse. Got hung up in the trees. But there we go. We have our sleep and wardrobe trigger right there. So before we get too far into the rest of the video, our scoring is going to go like this. Production being built in or areas set aside for such. Yes, we have 6 custom productions. We have a sawmill, a bakery, a dairy, a grain mill, a BGA, and a wine cellar. So we're going to give the map a full point. With respect to the ability to sell all of our custom crops, outputs, and production items, we're going to give the map 3/4 of a point because we do not have the ability to sell olives, cotton, or sugarcane. With respect to can the farms be customizable, we're giving the map a big old 0, big old goose egg, because the farms are not customizable really in any way. Actually, I was able to sell over at Farm B. I was able to sell some doors and some animal triggers, but the buildings stayed where they were. So overall, basically, no, they're not customizable. Textures are using the new texturing technique. It's a mix and match. Some buildings, like this one, definitely are. Other buildings, like this one, oh no, sorry. Other buildings, like, let's get to one that's not, is not. So this side is, that side is, right? But we'll get over here. And like this building. Nope, not so much. It's just flat textures. So there's a mix and match. So we're going to give the map 3/4 of a point there. We're not taking a whole lot off because overall, visually, it doesn't hurt the map at all. It doesn't hurt my enjoyment of the map at all. But it is what it is. Let's go ahead and take a look at our build mode. With respect to build mode and custom buildings being available for placement, no custom buildings, custom silos, extensions, containers, tools are farmhouses. All standard stuff. Custom production? Not really. Sell points? No. Greenhouses, orchards, generators. We do have the ability to put down the white grapes. Okay, so we can plant white grapes just like we would plant our regular grapes. But that is pretty much it to this point. Custom animals? Nope. They're all basically going to be as delivered. And then as far as our ground textures go, we do have a nice listing of ground textures. So we can further refine how our farms look. As far as plants go, fairly standard plants and fairly standard trees. Let's run over here to our chicken area, and then we'll wrap up the farm tour portion of the video. So here we have the large chicken area dedicated. 300 chickens are going to go here. We have our point for our eggs. We're going to have to put our food at the top. And that might be a little bit of a hint for the other chicken area over at Farm B. If you're having issues feeding those chickens because we didn't see our nice, attractive icon, then they may have to go in the top. So here we have our custom chicken area. Then we have a really nice shed over here with trigger for more vehicles and implements. And this is also flagged as a dealer trigger as well. Let's just get a little altitude and just kind of look around. And again, this map is visually stunning. All of the maps that this map author does are visually stunning. And it really, really makes you say, I'm glad I play Farm Sim. I'm glad I play Farm Sim on PC. Because this is the type of quality of things that we get. Now, I'd like to hear from you all if you do have a high definition texture pack loaded in. If you think that it's that big of a difference, I loaded the texture pack again for the Italia expansion mod or the expansion map when that first came out and did a video on it. For me, I didn't really see a huge difference in the texture changes. But I'm not always the best at picking up things like that. I have a hard time picking up things in images or YouTube videos where they're talking about different image quality. I'm like, I don't know, it looks the same to me. But at any rate, I'd love to know what you all think. Here we have an output. This is going to be for our grape waste output. Over here at our grape processing area now. We have our pallet point for our grapes. We have our management point for our grapes. We have an input area for the various products we need to bring down here, like the barrels and bottles. And then we have the dump point for our grapes right here. Now you may have noticed this thing here on the floor. Well, that's an outline of Germany. And what we have here at the various colorings is basically the wine areas of Germany. So I thought that was a really cool touch. And we've got a little bit of a kind of a legend over here as to which area and such on the map. Just to the east of the grape area, we have our animal dealer. You say that is kind of to the north and west of the chicken coop. So we have our animal buy point. We have a bale sell point. Over here we have the dairy. So we have our pallet output for our dairy. We have our management point for our dairy. And we have our fill point for the dairy. Right around the corner of the dairy, we have our dealer. So we have our workshop trigger here. And we have another dealer trigger located right there. We're going to have to go inside the dealer in order to get to our shop trigger. Let's go ahead and pick up our Mahindra. See where that spawns. Got a nice representation of machinery out front. Then here we have our Mahindra spawn point. So kind of a small area for our vehicles and implements to spawn in. Sorry about that. I don't think you're going to have issues with contracts, but it's possible. So be cautious when taking out contracts with lots of machinery. You might run into a spawn point issue. So I don't know where where the overflow would be as far as machinery spawning. Right across the street from the dealer, we do have our fuel point. And some of you may be like, oh, I don't like these things. You can get rid of them. Come here to the menu, and basically you can turn interactive markers off. Look, they're gone. Right? So if you don't like those, you can turn them off. I think they're real nice. I don't mind them. But for other players, it might be an immersion killing thing. A little bit of an ad for his high definition texture pack, but hey, that's okay. So up on the hill, we have our start point. We also have our farms. Let's just do a little bit of run down the river here, because we do have a mill, a grain mill, that I want to show you. And this little river run kind of helps show off some more of the beauty of the map. And here we are at our grain mill. We have a water fill point. Just a general water fill trigger. We have our input point for our grain. We have our pallet spawn point. And we have our interactive icon. Continue to make our way to the east. Over here we have a grain sell point. Let's make our way a little bit north of that. And we have a kind of a restaurant sell point overlooking the valley. And I'm looking, and I think that's pretty much it, folks. So our last scoring metric, trigger and interactive areas being clearly marked. We're going to take a quarter point off there because, again, over here at Farm B, good old Farm B, where we had all those animal areas, it seemed like the chicken feed area was not marked. We think we know where it is. We think we know where it should be. But it wasn't marked. Let's pull our triggers up. Oops, wrong button. I don't know. It might not even be there, quite frankly. So that's really the only confusing part here. So that's going to give this map a score of 3.25 out of 5. And you may say to yourself, are you insane? This is the most beautiful map ever. It's a 17 out of 10. This scoring is not based on beauty. This scoring is not based on anything emotional. You cannot deny that you cannot customize the farms. If it's important to you or not, doesn't matter. It's a point. Yes or no. Can you do it? And the answer is no, you can't. So that's a whole point there. We can't sell olives, cotton, or sugarcane. We can grow them. We can't sell them. We should be able to sell everything we grow. That's just a fact. So it's a quarter point. We've got some flat building textures. They're not that bad. You can buy higher quality textures if you wanted, but they're still going to be flat. That's a quarter point. Not that big of a deal. And the whole trigger being missing or confusing, well, if you want to play the map, you really don't want to be confused or running around trying to figure out how to feed your chickens. It needs to be fairly straightforward. So again, a quarter point there. So if you could customize the farm, or if we didn't even care about that, then the map would rate pretty darn high. Think of it as 3.25 out of 4. if you really don't care about changing the farms around. Now, one thing we should look at before we depart is our animal food overview. With respect to our animal food needs, they are all fairly standard. So even though we do have these custom crops, it doesn't appear that any of these custom crops, be that rye, spelt, green rye, are added to any of the animal food requirements. I'd love to know what you all think down in the comments below with respect to the Deutschland map. Welcome to Germany. And again, head over to his website, download the map. If you want to buy the texture pack, by all means, feel free. If you want to give him a donation, by all means, feel free. But just note, you don't have to if you don't want to. And until next time, happy farming.